Dear me. I did it last time. I managed to do it last time. I don't know what I've done wrong today. I think that the problem might be that I think I need to set it up on the same thing that I'm actually going to film it on, or something of that nature, because that did not work. I think it's working now, but of course I'm talking to myself because there's about 76 different live bloody streams going on, and nobody knows where on earth I am. So right, so it's not that one. So where the hell am I? Oh, God above. Oh, there's shed loads. Oh, this is not going well at all. Right, let's see. Is it that one? No, nothing's happening there. Oh, hang on, is it? Oh, there's shed loads. Oh, is this the one? Right. Oh, found me. That's good. Oh, and there's some people here. That's nice. Sorry about that. I made a complete pig's breakfast of that, and I forgot to turn the sound down on this. That's better. Yeah, I made a complete pudding of that, didn't I? Still trying to get my head around everything that, oh, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what I did wrong. I think I need to set the live up in advance using the same device that I'm actually going to use to film it. I think that's where the problem might have come. It shouldn't do that because it's still the same. Oh, I don't know. I'll look into it before next time and see if we can do it a bit better. Yeah, sorry, Jimmy, that was completely my bad. This. Oh, dear me. Good evening. How are you? I hope you've had a pleasant day. Who have we got? Jimmy, hello. Hi, how you doing? Mr. Harrison. Hello, Mr. Harrison. How the devil are you, sir? Mr. Books. I don't know why I called you Mr. Books in a very northern style. I think the word books sounds better as books. Oh, dear, 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 dear. What sort of a day have you had? This is really annoying because I tried to set this up as a joint thing with the singles, like with the singles group, and of course they've got a link to completely the wrong thing now because it's all a different thing, and you can guarantee they won't be able to work it out. So none of them will be here. They'll be sitting staring at a blank screen and wondering what the bloody hell's going on. Let's have a look. I'm good, Matthew. Thank you. I'm okay. It's been a super busy night. I was home later than expected. I thought it was going to be a quiet night, and it wasn't. We were packed, absolutely rammed. So there you go. Technology is an arse. Well, yeah, and so am I. Have a glass of wine, calm down. Do you know what? That is a fucking brilliant idea. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to do exactly that. Oh, I need this. Where's my glass? Oh. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I will get the hang of this. I promise you. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Ah, that's better. Oh, cheers. So tonight was intended to be a sort of trial run at doing it as a joint thing with singles, but that hasn't gone well. But the plan is to do a shorter live, but do it Monday and Thursday because it's fun and I like talking to you, and I hope it'll develop into a bit more of a thing. Um, so yeah, bear with me another second. Mustard is pinging me saying he wants to interrupt, but he can't get a good signal. Shall we call him? Shall we call him live and stick him on speakerphone? What do you reckon? The fourth live stream's the chat. Yeah, sorry, it's... Oh, Mustard's here. Evening, Captain. You've got a signal. Good man, well done. Right, yeah, apologies for the cock-ups with the 4 different live streams going on. Completely my bad, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. Hi, Tracy. Yeah, sorry, I had a bit of a mare. I'm learning that even though it's the same YouTube account, you can't do it on different devices. You can't set it up in advance on one device and then jump into the same thing on another device. It starts it as a secondary one. So I set it up on the iPad. I'm filming it on the iPhone, so that was the first problem. And then I got all befuddled, and if you start it in portrait, it doesn't then let you turn it into landscape, and it's all been a bit of an arse, but we're all here now, it's all good, and I will be better next time. Right, let's catch up with everybody, how we're doing, let's see. Do you like baked shoes? I've got no idea what that means. The thing that's jumping to mind there is a really old Reeves and Mortimer sketch where they were doing a takeoff of MasterChef, and it was so long ago that MasterChef was hosted by Lloyd Grossman. It was before the grocer came along, and somebody did serve up a baked shoe in that parody. Well, I like shoes and I like baked things. I've never tried the two as a concurrent thing. If that's a slang term for something, then let me know, because I'm not up with slang terms. Just got a signal. £9 for Gladys. Stick that bid on eBay. You could well be the lucky new owner. Now I understand what Seeing Next Thursday was about. Yeah. Been to look at a Vanden Pla. Now, is it Vanden Pla or is it Vanden Plas? What do we think on that? Does anybody know what the official? I think officially, isn't it Vanden Plas officially? So, Mr. Gilbert T. Codwacker has been to look at a Vanden Plas or Pla 1500 with the Allegro Man, and apparently it was terrible. Silent S, you think? The Vanden Plas or Pla or Plas, you choose. The 1500 was the posh Allegro, wasn't it? It had some walnut and some leather, and it had picnic tables in the back of the rear seats, and it had a posh grill. Never had one, but I have had an Allegro. It was a 1500 Super with a 5-speed gearbox, and her name was Bluebell, and she used more oil than petrol. £9 and a questionable streetwise for PX on Gladys. You're getting bloody closer. That's got winning bid written all over it, that has. Excuse me. Against all of YouTube's best efforts, we've accomplished what YouTube never could. Yes, we found what we were looking for. Nothing to do with YouTube, me not understanding how to do things, because I'm old and useless. Right. What's going on the Mustard and Boaty channel? Mustard pointed out that we were in competition tonight because we both put up our own videos at the same time. So who's in the lead? Who's got the most likes? And who has got the most comments? And who has got the most views? £9 and a bottle of Blue Nun. I'm getting a bit worried about all of these bids being about around the £9 mark. Come on, you tight-fisted sods, at least round it up to a bloody tenner. It's a nice car. It's a really nice car. Have you not seen that interior? And the rear window thing is entirely and totally nearly fixed. It drives like a Rolls Royce, I imagine. I haven't actually driven it. So it's got to be worth at least a tenner. 50! 50! Whoa, 50 quid. We should do the auction live on here instead of on eBay. You're keeping it. Okay. You probably would as well. At a tenner anyway. Nice uptick in subs, Monsieur Boaty. Yeah, I had a little binge of subs, didn't I? It steadied off again, and in fact, I've lost one tonight. But I did manage to stumble over the 400 mark finally. So that was nice. And 500 subs will be the first real major thing, because it'll be the first little milestone. 100 quid! Now we're talking. 500 subs will be the first milestone where they actually give you something other than just a new number. And when I get to 500, I get the community tab, which will be wonderful to have, and it's only available on is it available on PCs? I don't know, but it's certainly not available on an iPad, which is what I use. So even though I'll have it, I won't be able to use it. 62 quid in a bag of chips. You've been outbid. The bid is currently at £100 with Mr. Quinn. Paul, you are skinter than Boaty. Nobody is skinter than Boaty. Let's just get that absolutely clear. Nobody is skinter than Boaty. £103.19 and a pack of French letters. Why were they called French letters? Does anybody know? I don't get that. Don't begin to understand that. God, the old packet of 3, eh? Do you remember the first time you bought some? Were you embarrassed? Oh dear. I can owe money to myself. Yeah, well, yeah. Join it. What else have we got? Good evening, Pankman. Good evening, Tripemonger. Thomas Daniel has bid £54 and a PPD 45 diesel. PPD. Oh, pre-project drive. Oh, is it silver? If it's silver, you could be on. I would like a silver pre-project drive diesel for my daily, for my work car. I got my first pack of mates Johnny's from the barber. I thought that was an old wives' tale. Was it really barbers who sold them? Oh, copper leaf red, bugger. Well, we'd still take it. We'd still have a deal. It's been a tough night. Oh, bloody hell, it's got 12 months MOT. Oh, now we're getting somewhere now. So let's catch up with the current bids. So we've got £103.19 and a packet of condoms. I think it's fair to say that you've been outbid. We have £54 and a pre-pod Project Drive 45 diesel in Copperleaf Red with 12 months MOT. What do you reckon, Captain? If you've still got signal. Give me Gladys and £1,000 and you can have my 416. Yeah, that's not happening. Oh, it's a saloon, is it? Oh, better still. That's actually genuinely quite interesting. A Fiat 126 bis, I would love a Fiat 126. I've never personally owned one. 120 quid and the admission that you're cleverer than me. Who's that aimed at? Don't know. Fiat 126, what a fabulous little car. I would love one. Never owned one, but I have had my arse in one because we had at least one, possibly two, at the showrooms back in the day. I'll be honest, I have no idea what you're bidding on. Don't worry about that, it's a total bargain. It's really nice. Her name's Gladys, what more do you need to know? Everybody needs a Gladys in their life. Who the bloody hell is Trevor Feelgood? Ah, dear me. I would like a Fiat 500. God only knows if I could even conceivably fit in one. But my mother's first car, she passed her test very late when I was a teenager. And her first car was a Fiat 500 that she bought from a girl that worked for her. And she paid £50 for it, and its name was Fifi. And it was fabulous, a proper little 500 with the full length Webasto sunroof, and the little starty lever was down by where the handbrake may have been. I can't remember where the handbrake was. God, imagine what that would be worth now. Famous comic, okay. Project Nigel's offer is pretty good. That admission is priceless. Is it the Auto 25 and the Project Nigel yard? No, that's mine. That is the Honourable Sheeson, who is a Rover 25 1.6 IXL with the CVT step speed automatic gearbox. Low mileage, family owned from new, with the most incredible service history you've ever seen in your life. And it's breaking my heart that I should explain that the Honourable Sheeson identifies as non-binary, so I have to refer to them as they and them, as opposed to he or her. Yeah, and it breaks my heart that they're stuck in the yard. It's Sheeson is absolutely fabulous car. Love it to bits. Okay, good. I was going to reduce my bid to a single 16-inch hairpin alloy cheek. I have been half thinking about selling some cars. Not the Mustard and Boaty cars. I've been thinking about selling cars from my own little collection, whether that's just to use the money to make the sum in the collection absolutely perfect, or I've even toyed with the idea, fleeting thought at the back of my head, of just getting rid of a lot of them and starting again with something new. That's what I've usually done. I go through phases, and it's rare if the phase will last a year, and then I'll clear the decks and start again. Before the Rovers kicked in this year, last year it was all about Fords. I had 7 or 8 Fords, Fiesta, Fusion, Focus Mark 1, Focus Mark 2, C-Max, Mondeo, Galaxy. The Galaxy was a great thing. I should have kept that. If you ever decide to let go of that 75 Tourer, I might be interested. Talk to me about it. I could probably be persuaded to part with any of them if the deal was right, and if they were going to the right home. Um, I don't know. I'm torn. I've kind of committed to them, but also from a personal point of view, I was a I was a motor dealer. I didn't. It was rare I kept a car for a week, let alone a bloody year. Uh, so I'm used to a more dynamic passing of cars. Um, and yeah, there's been fleeting thoughts at the back of my mind that just clear the decks, get good homes for them all. Um, Drop all of the. At the moment, I'm running six separate insurance policies. Not to mention keeping six cars on the road and six lot of taxis because they're all literally on the road. So there is a fleeting thought, clearing the decks, getting my trade policy back, and just playing with cars on a short-term basis, with maybe just one or two on the permanent fleet. I don't know. I'm torn. The idea appeals, but then when I actually think about parting with any of them, um, that seems quite a difficult thing to do. Um, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Um, or even maybe just swapping some of them. I've got too many that are duplicated, like the 75s. I've got the 75 Saloon, I've got the Tourer, and I've got the MGZT, and they're all kind of the same thing. And what I haven't got is a convertible, which for a bit of spring, summer, and autumn fun. And I haven't got a 4x4, which is madness because if you know where I live in the wilds of the bloody Peak, and you're guaranteed snow for 4 months of the year, and for times of that 4 months, the roads will be closed. And since I lost my Lexus 4x4, and for me to get to work, unless I want to go the long way round, so down into Chesterfield on the main road and then along the main road all the way across, the direct route is right over the tops. I'm sure some of you will have endured my videos. You've seen the route that I take. Now, obviously, I started this spring. I started it spring. I started this channel properly in spring, so you haven't seen what these roads are like in winter. They're not fun. I should have a 4x4. So, at the very least, I should be swapping the fleet about or selling a few in order to ring those changes and have a convertible in there, and definitely have a 4x4. I'd like, a Freelander would be the obvious choice, wouldn't it? Hmm. Oh, comments. Let's catch up. Where are we? Yeah, with a stuck caliper too. Well, the caliper was stuck, as you know. You knew the caliper was dodgy, um, because we both knew the caliper was dodgy. But the point was that it was seized off, and the handbrake wasn't operating on that, and now it appears to be seized on. So that's a change, isn't it? Craig's got a caliper anyway, so but of course that's going to cut money in it. See, another reason for potentially selling one of the cars. I've got Sheeson sitting with no MOT, and they're not going to need much. As far as I know, you never know what an MOT test is going to turn up, but he's had one under my ownership. Sorry, they've had one under their ownership. I keep forgetting about this non-binary thing. They've had an MOT under my ownership, and it was a very, very harsh MOT, the harshest tester that I know. Um, and they're absolutely fine to the best of my knowledge. So, as far as I know, all they're going to need is the near side rear caliper and one or two tyres. So it's not a massive thing to get them through the MOT. And my 45 is now also out of MOT and is going to need at least either a repair to, a codge to, a bodge to, or a replacement midsection exhaust. So it's kind of silly having 6 cars when 2 of them are off the road and you can't afford to put them on the road. My idea was that somewhere lurking at the back of my, I don't have ideas, I don't have plans, I don't do sense, but I think the dream or hope was that at the back of my mind that the YouTube channel would do something and I'd earn money from that, and that would kind of pay for things. And one day it might, but it's a bloody slow process. And there are some other things, there are some other potential irons in the fire, which could have come to fruition before now. For example, we've just bought the people I'm involved with. We've just bought a building that we will be turning into a small bespoke hotel or a series of Airbnb rooms or something. And that was always supposed to be my baby and my project. But it's taken a lot longer than expected. I thought that might have been done and dusted at the start of the year, and I would have a good income from overseeing that and running that. But that didn't happen. The sale has finally gone through, but it only went through about 3 weeks ago. And it's going to be, the building needs converting, and it's going to be next year before we can crack on with that. So, you know, things might change. I mean, I always work on the basis that things will somehow get better through one reason or another. Let's catch up with the comments again. 145 quid and a 15-year-old Tomcat deal. Just to sweeten my deal on the Streetwise, it's got half a tank and a plush John McClane swinging from the back window, and a Panama hat. Well, Mustard would like that. I would like a 25 CVT. Well, make me an offer for mine. You certainly won't find one with a better provenance and with a better history. The history file on it is like that. It's been maintained by Rover specialists all of its life. It's been in, apart from me, and it's been in the same family from new. It's quite a low mileage, 60 something thousand miles. It's a full spec IXL, so it's leather, air conditioning, electric sunroof, the posh onboard gramophone with the 12-disc CD stack in the boot. So yeah, talk to me. I'll swap Gladys for your 75 Tourer. Hang on, how does that work? How can you swap Gladys for my 75 Tourer? That's unless I'm missing something. Gladys kind of isn't all yours. I kind of own half of it, so you'd only be swapping me half of Gladys for all of my Tourer. I'll tell you what, I'll swap you your half of Gladys for 1/5 of the Tourer. I love my 45, but it's a struggle getting the bike in the back. You need a 214 bubble, single working heated seat, just the one. Passenger or driver? Oh, it's Ali Mac. Good evening, sir. How the devil are you? You need a Ledbury Maestro, bloody snowplow. Freelander, had a few of them. I live in the Highlands. Yeah, I know you do, mate. And so, what do you think of the Freelander? I know it's got some kind of endemic issues. Quite apart from the old head gasket, if it's petrol. I don't know if the diesels are equally prone. Um, there's a problem with four-wheel drive, isn't there? A common fault or something that a lot of them get left in permanent two-wheel drive. Is that right? Oh, excuse me. I just quite fancy one. I think they're quite funky and cool. 45 was a bloody nightmare on the MOT. Rear brakes need to be rebuilt, rear suspension overhaul, small amount of well, and a full gasket. Hopefully my 45 wouldn't be so bad. It was, when I got it, it was a one owner car. And it was a rich owner. He had three cars. The Rover 45, which he bought brand new and which was his daily. His other two cars were a Ferrari and a Maserati, and still are. And again, that's been maintained by a very specialist company from new. It's been rust proofed and wax oiled from new. It's probably had 10,000 quid spent on it. And the history file, again, is like that. So hopefully wouldn't be too bad. Why don't you get a lodger? No. God, I struggle enough living with somebody that I love and that I am happy to insert part of myself into. The idea of actually sharing my personal space with a stranger, jeez, oh God, no, that's never happening. I'd sooner go on the game. At least then I'd only have to share myself with them for half an hour, not the whole bloody night. I know of a Cougar for sale. Well, that's going to be out of my price range, isn't it? People remove the prop shafts to step the wiki. How are the fishes? The fishes are great. The two little whizzers are great fun. I've had them before, the peppered mackerel. The two red ones that I bought to match the kitchen decor, you never fucking see them. They just hide under the logs. Barely see the buggers. That was £6 ill spent. Most of the fish are upstairs, and the upstairs fish are good as gold. Thank you. As are all of the snails and the shrimps and all the other little wonderful waterlogged beasties that I have shared in the place. Mustard, could I stay with you? Yes, of course. Yeah, we said we've got to do the mustard and Bodie get pissed thing. The guest suite has got your name on it, my dear chap. Whenever you fancy, just don't move in full time. The odd night's not a problem. Anyway, I like you. I might not like a lodger. Imagine that. Imagine getting a lodger that you didn't like. That would be awful. It would be like living with your ex-wife. Although what would be worse would be living with a lodger that you really fancied and who didn't fancy you. That would be absolutely dreadful, especially if they brought somebody home and there was active pottering going on. I mean, it would be bad enough to have pottering going on under your own roof and you not be involved with it. But when the pottering was involving somebody that you would like to be pottering, or who you would like to be administering of pottering to you, depending on what flavour of gender you are, that would just be dreadful. I wouldn't like that at all. Look, it's low tide at Glass Bay. I need to top up. Mustard, we're not sharing a bed. You've tried to get me into the back of the bloody 75 Tourer. Um, that is not happening. At a push, I will share the caravan with you. But the furthest I'll go is one of those caravan beds where you've got two single beds and the table in between. That's it. I'm not going. That would be awful. I'm a really deep sleeper and I dream a lot. Now, if I were to go to bed with Captain Mustard in a purely platonic way, I mean, let's say that there was some weird circumstance where we were on a road trip and there was only one bed available, or something of that nature, or we were abandoned somewhere terrifyingly remote and cold like Scunthorpe, and we needed to keep each other warm. If there was some really bizarre, some bizarre circumstance where that would be awful, because as soon as you went, you'd have a manly chat and a laugh and whatever, and that would all be grand, and you'd go to sleep probably facing in opposite directions, because that would be more seemly for two very straight gentlemen sharing a feather. But then as soon as you're asleep and you're in the land of Nod, you're going to be dreaming about God knows what, this, that, or the other. At the very least, and subconsciously, you're going to be aware that there's a body in that bed with you. And if you've spent your whole adult life, as I assume Mustard has, and I have, whenever I've been in bed with somebody, it's been a woman. And it's invariably been a woman that I want to be in that bed with. And, let's be fair, I've probably just administered a podgering. So, when you sense a body in your bed and you're asleep, what do you do automatically, subconsciously? You cuddle up. And it's perfectly normal. And I'm sure that would happen. And I don't think that either myself or Mustard could cope with the sheer trauma of waking up with either of us being cuddled by the other. I mean, that would just be... Mustard and Bertie do lunch would never be the same again. We wouldn't be able to look at each other. Oh, dear me. Princess Fergus lives with Prince Andy. Fair play to her. Bertie needs a bum chastity belt. Podger the Lodger or Roger the Lodger or Think of the Lodger and... right, okay. Get the sprint? No, we're not doing it. Oh, we could make a nice video of it. Really? Really? As in an amusing video where we were both feeling slightly awkward for the Mustard and Bertie channel, or a full-on gay porn video where we set out to conquer the gay porn world. Dear God. I think you make a lovely... oh, dear me. I love the way this live stream has... I'm not loving the way the live stream has changed direction. It's a good way to keep warm. Well, each to their own, darling. Where Mustard and Bertie do bed. Look, can we move away from the idea of Mustard and I sharing a bed, please? What is your other hand? It's a nut. It's a 75 Tourer, an auto or a manual, I can't remember. It's automatic CDTI. It's the 131 PS, the more powerful, and it's the connoisseur spec with the I can't remember what the wood trim is called, the darker wood, whatever that's called. All of the normal bits and pieces. I think it's the Connoisseur, not the Connoisseur SE. I can't remember. It's got electric seats. I think it must be. It's got the trip computer thing. Does that make it the SE? It's got electric seats. It's got heated seats. It hasn't got cruise control. I can't remember, and it's 10 to midnight. I don't care. I've never had an automatic. Is it a proper slush box? Um, well, I'll tell you this from my own personal experience. If you're going to have a Rover 75, you need an automatic. The clutch on the Rover 75 is pointlessly and needlessly heavy. And the automatic gearbox is really, really good. It's a 5-speed box. It's switchable. It's got winter mode. It's got sports mode. And as Mustard famously pointed out and demonstrated, it has sports reverse and sports park. I wouldn't touch a manual. The only manual I've got in the 75 guys is the ZT. And that's a bit of a sporty car, so it's supposed to be heavy, so I can forgive it. But 75, I wouldn't touch a manual. That's my personal thing. This comment has been hidden and held for review, but I will publish it. I think that the way you're avoiding bedtime with Mustard shows you. I think that the way you're avoiding bedtime with Mustard shows you're the gayest of us two. Really? Is that really somewhere we we want to go? Oh, well, I'll tell you what. We'll put it out to a poll in the Facebook group. God, I can't believe I'm actually thinking about this and giving thought to it. I reckon you're the gayest. I might be the campest, but I reckon you'd be the gayest. You've got a beard. Excuse me while I top up. Talk amongst yourselves. I've just had a thought. Okay, right. Oh, you absolute arsehole. Right, I'm publishing that. You stuff bugger. Right. If any of you lot want to see Mustard and Boaty do bedtime, or whatever you want to call it, here is the deal. Here is the deal. And it's non-negotiable. All right? If one of you, or between you all, if you find us or give us or raise the money for us to get a 2-berth caravan so that we can stay dry and warm and whatnot in the yard, if you do that, then we will, before it goes into the yard, we will tow it somewhere and we will spend the night in a 2-berth caravan, and we will film it, and we will do a live stream from it. You want to see it? It's going to cost you a caravan. And I tell you what, if you upgrade it to a four berth, we'll have a foursome with the hub nuts. Now there's an offer. Disclaimer, hub nuts might possibly not agree. Oh, let's see. Da, da, da. Be right, the two of you in sleeping bags. He's off for a wet. Oh dear. This live stream is gone in a very disturbing direction and is on the verge of being entirely out of control. I'd better have some wine. Some of the Project Nigel intros are pretty fruity. Well, there you are, you see. There you are. My intro is a very macho, manly intro. Although admittedly, it does feature me in a public lavatory, which is perhaps not the straightest of places to be. Although in my defence, I wasn't doing the full-on George Michael. Evening, Black Lions. I suspect you both being together drunk will be like an episode of Bottom, can't we? Christ only knows what it would be like. God only knows. Is Mustard going to advertise Wendy's 45? Ask Mustard about that, but I think possibly not. I have a two-man pop-up tent. How about that? Not enough money in the world, mate. Not enough money in the world. Well, actually, there is enough money in the world. Two-man pop-up tent would have to be worthwhile. One night in a two-man pop-up tent. What do you reckon, Mustard? 1,500 quid split between us? That'll buy a few beers, wouldn't it? I knew you wanted it. All of these messages are being hidden for being disgusting. Oh dear. You have wine, I'm going to have some whiskey. Cheers. Cheers. Mustard and Boaty do dogging in the Lake District. Christ almighty, we're going to the Lake District now. That's a long way to go dogging. Can't we do it here, locally, in the Peak District? At least I could escape to the cottage if need be. Which organ will... No, I think, yeah, we're holding out for a caravan, but the deal is there. If anybody can make a two-berth caravan, ideally a kind of one of those cute, small 1990s ones. There was one I really fancied on Marketplace, 350 quid. If I had 350 quid, I'd have bought it. It was super cute. But yeah, anybody comes up with a caravan or organises a joint thing or steals one for us, whatever, we will do that. We will stay a night somewhere in winter, mark you, in a two-berth caravan, and we will film it and we will do a live doings from it. Jesus Christ almighty, how drunk would we be? Be a laugh though. Where do you normally go dogging? I've never been dogging. Well, depends how you define dogging. There have been a couple of occasions where one of my mates was giving me and my whichever girlfriend it was at the time a lift home, and we've just cracked on in the back seat. Does that count as dogging? Um, does that mean dog walking? Please explain. I've lived a sheltered life. Close enough to Matlock that it doesn't go dogging, the dogging comes to him. I understand that there are several, some, well, I happen to know for a fact that there is a prominent dogging location not very far from me at all, Shillitoe Woods. And if I was going to go dogging, that would be a lovely place to do it. I've been there for lunch several times when I was working around there, and that would probably, if I was going to go dogging, that would be my first job. I don't understand how dogging works. Do you just rock up and watch other people? Or can you join in? Or do you take your own partner and just let people watch? Or do they have an automatic right to join in? I've got no idea. Ugh. You could not go dogging on Marsden Moor as it's cold as an absolute zero. I've never known anyone talk about dogging or wife swapping as much as you. There's a reason for this. Look, I just talk about it. You're the one who does it. You're the one obsessed with it. You're the one who, okay, you say it's your car, but we know that it's just a bloody metaphor. I've never done any of these things in my life. You're the one who goes to these bottom sniffing, wife swapping shows and makes it, and you don't even do it ironically. That's the bit that gets me. I would go to one at a push, but I would do it ironically, or for massive financial gain, or to amuse myself by taking the piss out of people. You go and do it genuinely. I don't know how you do that. Ugh. Is it called dogging because the women are rough? I don't know. I've never been. I've never seen one. What if nobody watches? Is it still dogging if you're single? I don't know. That was one of my questions. Can you go on your own and just join in? Or is that more swinging? I don't know anything about any of these things. And I don't know why they've become a regular topic of conversation. I think way back when, before we started, I think it was before we started filming any stuff, Mustard was on about a car show, and I've never seen the appeal of these car shows and car meets, and I likened it to a wife swapping thing just off the cuff, and it's kind of stuck, and I genuinely do believe that's what it's like. The idea that it's wife swapping. That's all that it is. Your wife, your car, prized possession, it's the same thing. And you polish up your car and make it look all wonderful, and Mustard, you do this. And then you take it somewhere in a field with a shed load of other people to show it off so that they can look at it and say, oh, how lovely that is. And you can look at theirs and say how lovely that is. And you have a go in each other's. That's dogging and wife swapping combined. I don't care what you say, that's what it is. I've never done it and you have. So don't come here calling me the pervert. Keep up the dogging questions, people. He likes it, really. I don't know anything about it. I might research it. If I wasn't terrified of what would suddenly pop up on my Facebook feed because of the Google algorithms. Excuse me. actually, thinking about it, if I was going to try anything of that nature, I'd rather try the wife swapping and swinging thing than the dogging. You know, at least it's indoors, more comfortable. You could be in a hotel, you'd have room service. Dogging is like camping, it's weeing up trees, and there's no fridge to chill your wine, and no room service to bring you a snack. Oh God above. Late night snacks amongst the dogging community. Yeah, I'll take the Momo station. Good show. Good show. There is a business opportunity. Mustard and Boaty cater dogging. Hang on, I've just got the low battery thing come up. Let's plug you in. What an attractive shade of blue. There you go. If anybody cares, my trapped nerve is still agony. I couldn't sleep last night. I didn't take any pain relief before I went to bed, and oh, what was that? Oh, it was my big hand. Excuse me. Rude. And I was up at a ridiculous hour taking the bin out. Oh, bloody painful. Oh, excuse me. Jumbo sausage. Yeah. Make sure it's not battered. Did you ever actually answer the question of whether you... No, let's not go there. Let's not go there. That was a mustard and boaty do lunch that that went a bit to the dark side. I have, by the way, you never asked. My tip, if you're going to insert a Savoy or jumbo sausage into your partner in a loving way and then have a little nibble of it, don't let them put salt and vinegar on it. Ladies don't like it. Places that, oh God. You need a Emna mattress. Mine has changed. What's an Emna mattress? You like a sausage, I guess. And you bloody old mustard, and you say I'm the one with the carry on innuendo. Jesus Christ. And that's a thought. I've never seen you eat a sausage. There's a term for that, and I can't remember what it is. It might come to me. You see, the fact that I'm comfortable with a sausage shows that I am the less gay of the two of us. That's my argument anyway. Where are we? Please no butter on the sausage or eat it first because... Exactly my point. Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't make the batter mistake. I let them put salt and vinegar on it, and apparently that's not comfortable. When you were a teenager, did you used to do the thing when you went to the chip, or in your early 20s, when you went to the chip shop after the pub, and you got a Savoy, one of those proper red floppy Savoys, and tucked it into your fly and walked around with it hanging out just to startle the local girls? Would I like to? Would I like to what? I forgot what I said now. I've had a glass of wine and I can't remember what oh God. This was not how I intended this live stream to go. For God's sake, I'd invited all of my singles lot. Now, none of them will be here because, as I explained earlier, I've ballsed everything up and they've got the wrong link. But my poor singles lot, they could not cope with this conversation. Oh, I wish I was there with you now. Why? For some fun drunken banter and because I'm about to make supper? Or because, or because you're going to test my gayness in some uncomfortable fashion? I mean, I wish you were here with me now doing this live stream. We really need to do a live stream together, and we need to get drunk together and possibly sleep in a two-berth caravan together. All of these things would be enormous fun. It's just with all the references to dogging and gayness and whatnot. Oh dear. The sausage talk has gone right. Well, exactly. Have I ever had a birthday? I've had too many bloody birthdays, far too many. And I've got another one coming up with saddening rapidity. And I can't believe how old I am. It's bizarre. It's like, I don't know how old you lot are, but for me, you know, I'm of an age where I assumed that people would be dead. You know, I'm of an age where when you were the age I think I am, which is about 19 or 21 or something, and you mention this age and you think, well, that's old, and they're still alive. Fair play to them. And it's really weird because you get to this age and in your mind, you're still all you and young and proper. But you look in the mirror and there's this fucking old bastard staring back at you. And things stop working. Things stop working, things hurt, things shrivel, things atrophy. Hair grows in really unusual places, and it grows too fast and too furiously. And it's, don't get up, well, I mean, what's the saying? Don't begrudge growing old. It's better than the alternative, which is absolutely 100% true. But it's real. It's surreal. It's bizarre. I can't believe. I don't even want to say the words. On January the 14th, I'm going to be 52 years old. Now that's almost as old as Mustard is now. I think just 4 or 5 years away. And it's terrifying. 52. And time goes so quickly. Christmas was 2 weeks ago, and it's happening again next Monday, I believe. So when years are going by in the space of about 3 days, that means I've only got about 7 days left to live. Bloody hell. Maybe I should try dogging and a few other things, knock them off my bloody bucket list or whatever the hell it's called. Let's have a look. So yes, I've had a birthday. So next week we'll find out. Should I be worried? Are you having crumpet? I am not a fan of, well, you know, if we're talking about what's crumpet made of? Dough? If we're talking about the edible crump, well, no, because, you know, ladies can be nibbled and noshed. And if you're talking about the little round crumpets, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of the hot buttered crumpet. Gilbert T. Codwacker is 46. You are a child. A child, dear boy. Tracy is almost 51. You have my sincere sympathies. How's the incontinence going with you? Is it just urinary? Hang on. Is it just urinary incontinence, or have you gone the whole fecal route as well? Um, it's ugh. Diddly do. 42. You're not old enough to be looking at this conversation. Christ almighty. My hair left at 25. Again, sympathies, but nothing wrong with a solar panel for a sex machine. I'm 43 years old, soon to be 44, but my mind is still 19. It'll stay there. Trust me, it will stay there. Um, we're boys. We don't grow up. Our bodies just grow old. Jimmy Quinn, 60. 60. Oh, fair play. I've got a thing at the back of my mind, and it's about disinhibition. And okay, I'm old, but I suppose I'm not really, really old. And whilst a lot of me has learned not to give a shit about a lot of stuff, and I don't really care what other people think. And I'm comfortable with my own choices, and I don't feel the need to impress anybody. And I can take the piss out of myself, and I can laugh at myself. But there are still some vestiges. I'm looking forward to getting to the sort of age, probably going to be in my 60s if I make it that far. And to be honest, with the lifestyle I've led, it's amazing that I've made it this far at all, let alone in any one sort of piece. But it'd be fun to get to the age where you're just completely disinhibited. I remember when I was a student, I was in the queue at Woolworths, that's how long ago it was, to get a chicken and lettuce sandwich. And it was quite a long queue because it was like the lunch hour. And this was in the Woolworths cafeteria on the second floor. And this old guy came barging through the queue with whatever he had in his tray. And he's literally whacking people with his walking stick as he walks past. And somebody sort of said, excuse me, there's a queue. And he said, I can't queue. Why not? I'm old. Why does that mean you can't queue? I might die. I don't know how much time I've got left. And he just whacked people with his stick, got to the end of the queue, paid and fucked off. And I would like to do things like that. I would like to be, I'd do it now. It's not my own inhibitions that are stopping me. It's the fact that I know that I'm too young to be forgiven for them. I'm quite looking forward. There's not much I'm looking forward to about getting even older than I am now. But thinking about it, being of an age where you get forgiven for being disinhibited, that's got to be quite cool, and see what you can get away with. It's like, give you an example, right? Now, if I'm in a supermarket or another public place, I will quell a fart. I will do whatever I need to do to make sure that that fart does not come out, right? Not because I'm personally inhibited, because I know that I would be harshly judged and possibly abused. Whereas, if I was a little bit older, or a decade or 15 years older or whatnot, and I was in a supermarket and I just let one fly, they'd laugh or look at me and think, oh, poor old chap, he can't help it. You can't control your sphincter when you're as old as that. And that would be great, just walking around doing all of those sorts of things on purpose, and knowing that you're not going to get into trouble for them because you're old, and people will just excuse you because they just, oh, he's old, bless him, he's old. There's got to be something to look forward to, right? Let's catch up here. I thought Mustard had a knackered leg. Yeah, it's his middle one. Sorry. I'm 19 and I feel 40. Really? Oh my God, don't. But, well, maybe that's how it works. Maybe when you're 19 you feel 40, and when you're 40 you feel 19. Just enjoy yourself and don't take it too seriously and have fun. Um, my gran is 97. Well, bless her. You had a hard life. I fucking have had a hard life, I tell you. Lived on my wits from day dot. You don't look a day over 51. No, arsehole. Thanks. 45, so I guess I'm old enough for balding. Oh, God, yeah. All the wrong things are stiff in the morning. Uh, well, I've got a shoulder that's knackered. How far do we want to go with this live stream? I haven't reached that problem yet. I know it's going to be round the corner any day now, and in some ways I look forward to it because, let's face it, when you're on your own, the morning glory is kind of pointless and frustrating. So when it kicks in that the old middle stump becomes something of a dead whippet, it'll be quite a relief on those occasions. But then on the odd occasions where Windy Bottom has a guest, and there's a guest in my personal boudoir, then that would be somewhat inconvenient. Although I believe there is a pill that you can take. But at the moment, and this won't last for much longer, I'm sure, but at the moment I still have to slam the bloody thing in the bathroom door so I can go and have my morning wee. I'm a seated weeer. Now, we've got some age ranges here. Gentlemen, ladies, I know you do it sitting down. Gentlemen, do you whittle standing up or sitting down in your own home? Obviously, if you're in a pub or a public urinal, obviously you're going to stand. But in your own home, do you sit down or stand? I'm a sitter, and I should have done it sooner. It was a breakthrough. It was a St. Paul on the road to Damascus moment. What is the downside of being a seated whittler? I do not see any downside. There are lots of upsides. Comfort. You can relax. You can read a page of a book or an owner's manual or a brochure, and you can't miss. And let's face it, lads, you do miss, don't you? You can't get in trouble for leaving the toilet seat up. So why doesn't every man do the seated whittle? What is the upside of standing at home? I don't get it. You tell me. I wish I'd done it years before I started doing it. I poo 5 times a day. I imagine that you have a very good bathroom library. A bathroom library is a very important thing. I would never trust anybody who didn't have reading material available in their lavatory. I've got the full set of Jeremy Clarkson's in mine, along with various brochures and boxing autobiographies. Good evening, English-like people. Ah, our American friend is amongst us. Good evening, sir, or whatever time it is there. I'm told that daily by my wife, I don't give a... It's a good thing. You can blame a lot of bad behaviour on being senile, can't wait. Exactly my point. Exactly. Make the best of it. That's true of life in whatever you're doing. Make the bloody best of it. Every cloud has got a silver lining. Whatever situation you're in, unless you're being buggered by Brian Blessed, there should, in most situations, there will be a way to make the best of it and get some joy out of it. And that's what, when I'm properly old and useless and wetting myself, I'm going to be horrendously inappropriate and disinhibited. And nobody will, I won't even go, oh, ugh. We had Woolworths stores over here in the States. They were called Woolworths. They were called Woolworths here too. Same. My gran used to tell random people about her bowel movements. Genius! That's an old people thing. That's totally an old people thing. It's it's like um, it's like a Tourettean response once you get to a certain age. Just like a hairdresser will have to say, "Have you been on your holidays, or are you planning your holidays?" And when you get into a taxi, you'll say, you can't help yourself. You say, "Have you been busy? What time are you on till?" And when you're a certain age, you can't help talking about your bowel movements. It's what you do. I imagine that in this modern day and age, where with the silver surfers, they'll have WhatsApp groups where they message each other about their bowel movements. Maybe they send pictures. Rate my poo. Who knows? But yeah, I'll totally do that. We have a hidden comment. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but hey, Incopads, they can be your friend. My mate, when he was still a young man, he used to wear incontinence pads to football matches so he could just wet himself or crap himself and not have to worry about it and not have to make the epic journey to the horrendous public bog at his local football ground. Um, this live stream has really escalated. Yeah, it is it has gone in unexpected directions. It's your lot's fault. I was going to talk about faith and piety and the importance of being God fearing and respectful. Um, I used to sit to pee until I had my turtleneck sweater removed. Why does that change anything? I assume you mean you've been circumcised. Why would that change how you pee? I would have thought. Now, I haven't been circumcised, okay? So, I therefore have a foreskin. And to me, a foreskin acts as a de facto aiming mechanism. So, to me, that doesn't make sense. Because I would have thought that without a foreskin, your pee would be more difficult to accurately direct. So I would have thought that if you'd been circumcised, you would be more likely to sit down to pee as opposed to less likely. Because, well, I mean, wouldn't it be like a garden hose where it just sort of goes like a bloody garden sprayer? I would definitely sit down to pee if I were circumcised. A sit down wee used to be a treat, but after 40 it should become a more regular occurrence. Yeah. I have to fold mine to sit to piss. Nobody likes a show off. Do you sit down when peeing outdoors? No, no. Obviously, that would be the exact. I did put the caveat in that when you were at home. Obviously, if you're outdoors, you're going to stand and pee, unless you're a lady, woman, female type thing. And obviously, if you're in a public lavatory, you're going to stand. I'm talking about in the comfort of your own home, where also you are either responsible for cleaning your lavatory or you will be held responsible for the lavatory not being clean. And those are important arguments in the standing sitting debate. Another one hidden, mustard again. What has he said? How long do you spend having a piss? Well, it's not about the necessity, is it? How long you spend is, it's a movable feast. So you sit down, you pick up your book, you begin to read, and you let fly in comfort and peace, knowing that your little chap is tucked down in the depths of the lavatory. So you don't have to worry about that side of things. You don't have to hold it. You don't have to direct it. You don't have to worry about anything. You can just luxuriate in the peace and quiet and comfort and read. And so how long you stay there depends on how involved and how compelling whatever you're reading is. Um, if it's just something you're reading just for the sake of it while you're having the necessary pee, then, it's going to be a matter of, 20, 30 seconds? And then you're going to be up and away. But if you're in a really good chapter of a really good book, well, you might well sit there for half an hour. Why wouldn't you? My dad knew every bus number for every location in the Northwest. Ah, bet Jackie Weaver does. Who's Jackie Weaver? I'm sure there is a Facebook group, Rate My Poop. It wouldn't surprise. In fact, yeah, there is, because somebody added me into it years ago. And I know that I have a scatological humour, but that was too much even for me. I lasted about 2 minutes and thought, nope, can't cope with that. Buggered by Brian Blessed. Yeah, well, I imagine that, I don't know, I imagine that, well, unless you're of a persuasion that enjoys being buggered, and there's nothing wrong with that, I fully support it. If being buggered is likely to be an unpleasant thing for you, then I would imagine that if the person buggering you is Brian Blessed, I would imagine that that would make it even less pleasurable. Or would it? Or would it? I was thinking it would be less pleasurable because he would be likely to be loud and vociferous and show-offy, therefore rather adding insult to injury as he took his few laps around your delicate chocolate speedway. But could you argue that it would mitigate it because he's a celeb and he's amusing, and rather than roaring and triumphing in what he was visiting upon you, perhaps he might tell you an amusing anecdote to make it somehow less distressing. I don't know. Okay, here's a question for you. If you were going to be... Can't believe I'm asking this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were going to be buggered, then would the person... if the buggerer, you're the buggeree, if the buggerer was Brian Blessed, would that make it a more or less palatable experience? Over to you on that one. How low is the bar for this live stream? God knows. God knows. Brian Blessed should be the voice of TIM. What's TIM? Cracking up here. Hopefully that's a reference to laughing rather than mainlining crack, or however one imbibes whatever that is. Bedtime for me. Hope I won't have any dreams of Brian Blessed bellowing behind me. Good night, Black Lines. Thanks for Thanks for coming. Thanks for being part of it. Have a safe and peaceful night. Look forward to catching you next time. Um, Brian Blessed would be my voice of narration voice should us two get on TV. Totally, yeah, totally on board with that. He would be perfect. Um, yeah, spot on. I need to top up again. Another one held for review. What the hell kind of stream is this anyway? I don't know. It's all gone a bit. It's all it's all gone a bit Pete tongue. I genuinely did not intend for this live stream to end with a discussion of the palatability or otherwise of being anally penetrated by Brian Blessed. Would buggery by Brian be blessed? Oh, genius. Excuse me, more wine is required. Talk amongst yourselves. It's frozen. I'm drinking too slowly. My wine has frozen. I miss the days of drinking good vodka. Good vodka doesn't freeze. The cheap stuff does, but the good stuff doesn't. And when I lived in Ukraine, I used to drink it the Russian way. Straight from the freezer, just with a pinch of black pepper. Fabulous. They've got this thing in Ukraine. One of the reasons I eventually had to leave and come back home. They're incredibly hospitable people. And it's perfectly normal for them to invite you into their house when you're a complete stranger. I might as well leave the bottle here, look. And when they invite you into their house, as a courtesy, they will open a fresh bottle of vodka to offer you a drink. To offer you a drink from a bottle that was already open would be a massive discourtesy, an insult, really. But then that's their obligation as a host. But then as a guest, you have the obligation to remain in their home until the bottle is empty. Which is why there are large patches of time from my days in Ukraine that I simply can't remember. I've recorded the first couple of episodes of A Potted History of Boaty, and the first one will go out tomorrow night at 1919, my new normal time. And I warn you, the first couple are a little bit near the knuckle, talking about my heritage, and there's some sensitive issues in there and whatnot. And it's maybe not the most uplifting, but bear with it. It will get better. But when we get on to my adult life, and certainly if I ever wrote a book, I would need to include, I would need to do a television advert like what's his name did. I can't remember who it was, but this genuinely happened. He was asked to write his autobiography, offered a lot of money for it. And he put an advert in the Times saying, I have been asked to write my autobiography. If anybody knows what I was doing between 1967 and 1979, I would be very grateful if they would get in touch. And there are part of my lives where that kind of applies to me. Let's have a look. Oh, so many messages are being held for review. Can we talk about tits now? Go for it, by all means. It's an open forum. Gordon's Alive nearly finished me off in an orgasmic sense. A thought has come to mind. You on that Channel 4 show, Naked Attraction. No idea why I just thought of that. I don't know what that is. I don't have a television, so I've got no idea what that is. Sounds interesting. This quite tame to some of the live streams I go to. Oh, we'll have to try harder, won't we? If Brian Blessed had a fight with Bungle, who would win? We have similar minds, because I did a whole feature on a radio show that I happened to be co-hosting on Radio Wales. And the feature was, would you be able to outrun an evil Bungle that had turned to the dark side and was coming after you with evil intent? And amazingly, in the valleys of South Wales, that feature ran and ran, and we had all sorts of good stout Welsh people getting on board with this nonsense. They were used to proper stuff, and then suddenly I come along, start co-hosting radio shows on Radio Wales and throwing the most bizarre stuff in. So yeah, I did have a large portion of South Wales thinking about and discussing live on radio whether they would outrun an evil Bungle. Who would win in a fight between Bungle and Brian Blessed? Well, Brian Blessed's like 86 now. But he is very fit and active. And I happen to know, because I listened to an interview with Brian Blessed on last Sunday. He was interviewed on Radio 2 on, what's his name, the old fart who does the Johnny Walker. And Brian Blessed is still very active, and he's a third dan black belt karate. So I'm going to say that he kicked the fucking living shit out of Bungle. And quite right too. Bungle needs the living shit kicked out of him, because Bungle is a pervert. And do you know why? I can prove that Bungle is a pervert. You go back and look at those bloody programs, right? When Bungle had a bath, what happened? He wrapped a towel around him. Rest of the time, stark bollock naked. Sick. Bungle was the Keith Chegwin of his time. Outrageous. And Brian Blessed would kick his ass. And quite right too. My money would be on Brian. Yeah, me too. Tim is the speaking clock. Surely that's not still going. Hidden comment. Oh, fucking hell, Mustard. Really? Really? I'm not reading that comment out. No. I don't. That is kind of the last thing on earth that I would want. And no, this is in reply to Mustard's comment that I'm not going to read out, but it is there to be seen. And it's not something that I would want, and that's no offence to Brian Blessed. I wouldn't want it by anybody. you know, I've had helpless tears and called for help during a difficult bowel movement. The idea of somebody clambering on top of me and popping their little chap into my little boat. No, I mean, no, just no. Uh, Look, I know some people like it, some ladies like it, and I'm personally very grateful for that. And if it's your thing, great. I'm not equipped with a suitable orifice, I fear. Perhaps mine is abnormally tight. I don't know, but yeah, no. And you can bet Brian Blessed's going to be well blessed, if you'll forgive the pun. He's not going to have a tiny little chap, is he? He's going to have some Rotherham Great massive Everest climbing Python-esque thing. Oh dear me. I prefer whiskey to vodka. I've tried many different types. Oh, whiskey. Oh God, I can't do whiskey. Two whiskies and I'm absolutely finished. Whereas vodka, I can drink a bottle and not a problem. That sounds like me between 1998 and 2003. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there. My memory is useless, so I suppose I'm going to come over a pothead history instead of potted. That's quite good. Dial 123 live and let's see. Okay. I happen to have my portable electric telephone handy. Can you see that? 1, 2, 3. Let's put it on speaker.
At the third stroke, the time will be 12:48 a.m. and 10 seconds.
Well, fuck me. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. How is that still a thing? How is that still a thing? In this age of internets and smart TVs and smart watches, and how is the speaking clock still a thing? But I think that's fantastic. I love that. I absolutely love that. That is brilliant. Thank you for making me do that. That is genius. God, it's 10 to 1. I haven't eaten yet. Dear me. Right. Let's whiz through these comments and then let's call it a night before we all get bloody arrested. I need food. I'm hungry now. Right. Don't want to read. Done that. Read it. Read it or read it? Don't know. You're happy with your wife? Lovely. Speak. I would suggest Tom Baker as a back narrator for Mr. Blessed. Good chat. I asked the question on Facebook the other day. My question was this, so I'll ask you guys as well. Who would your favourite James Bond be if James Bond had always been played by all of the Doctor Who's? And my favourite would have been Tom Baker. Excuse me. My favourite would have been Tom Baker. That's a woman, not Tim. Yeah. You're on one tonight, aren't you, Mustard? £2? £2 to call Tim? Have I just spent £2? That's a day's worth of gas. CFAX. I loved CFAX. I loved CFAX. There was... I'm not imagining this. I don't think I'm imagining this. There was a dating service on CFAX. I'm sure there was. And I got a girlfriend from it. I'm sure I'm right. I'm sure it was CFAX. Was it? I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was CFAX. And then you wrote to each other, and then you telephoned each other, and then I think it was kind of left up to you. Personally, I was. I think I just retired off the bike, and I was working. But I was working for a pro team that I used to race for, and I was on the Tour of Britain. And I invited her to the team hotel in Liverpool. She lived on the Wirral, the Leisure Peninsula. Well, possibly you don't really know about that. Fucking hell, is it really cost me £2? Datefax, is that what it was? I knew it was a thing. And her name was Joanna. Can't remember what her surname was. She was a massive cycling fan, and she'd mentioned it in her datey thing, and she was jolly attractive. And of course, I'd only just retired, so she knew who I was, because I was kind of a bit. I wasn't famous like successful cyclists would be now, but I was famous amongst cyclists. You know, anybody who was into cycling would know me. So that was, it's like a head start, isn't it? It's like getting automatically to first base and a bottle of wine and anyway. The Ferguson video star. Who else had a top loading VCR? Our first VCR was a top loader. I can still remember the noise. Though we never had the remote control on a string. Never had that. And we never had a Betamax. School had a Betamax. And what was the other one? Was it a Philips, the S2000 or something? Do you remember when you would record yourself on a VHS tape and send it off to a company somewhere? Yeah, totally. VHS tape and on audio tape. And when I was singing, my first studio recordings were on tape. And I wish I still had them. I've never been one to keep things. I've never been a photograph taker, not before smartphones and whatnot, because I could never be asked. So all of my travels and all of my experiences, I don't have any recollections of them. I've got no photographs of family or anything like that, no photographs of my travels or wherever I've lived. And all of the TV stuff I did, I've got no recordings of that. And all of my the records I made and the studio stuff I did, that's all gone as well. I might have held on to some of those, except that when I split up with my fiance, who was with me until about halfway through my singing career, but she was with me for all of the early days. When we split up, she took, with my permission, all of my recordings, all of my studio stuff, all of the and all of the release stuff. I'd love to hear some of that now. I had a surprisingly good voice, oddly enough. Oh, the other thing I'd like is I used to run talent shows. It was kind of before the X Factor and things like that. And I used to run talent shows at big theatres and whatnot. Only for singers, not for all sorts of things. And I would get very worthwhile people being the judging panel. You know, well-known music makers and promoters and big names used to do it for me back in the day. Uh, and it was to my own end because I owned a promotions company and entertainment agency. So, you know, the talent that it picked up would, you know, I would get first dibs on it. And of course, I used to get paid handsomely by the venue because these things would be packed and there'd be a bar and the venue would make a fortune off the bar. So, you know, I would make sure that they paid me a good whack. And I used to film them quite commercially. But the equipment that I used for filming them, I also, no, I can't. I honestly, no, I can't say that. I used it for other personal, excuse me, I used it for other personal purposes as well. Um, Quite a lot with my first Chinese fiance. And I had a truck get nicked, and it was the one with all of the lighting rigs in. It had two trucks, one for sound, one for light. And I had one get nicked with all of the lighting rigs in, but it had all of the video stuff in as well. And it had the personal as well as the. So somewhere out there was, and possibly still is, some fairly, some old school, whatever what were they, super, I can't remember what it certainly wasn't CD, it was some sort of, I can't remember what the recording device was, but they were out there with me doing my thing on there. Who is the most famous person you've ever met? God, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest, because I've met a lot of very famous people. Either when I was when I had the car showrooms, I had some quite famous clients like all of the guys from Black Sabbath. So Ozzy, Sharon, Tony Iommi, the lead guitarist, he became a pal. In the sporting world, obviously I was a sportsman. There were loads. Now, if you'd asked me who was the most famous person I'd slept with, I could give you a very definite answer to that, but I won't. Except that, as I mentioned before, she had a #1 hit record around the world as well, not just in the UK. She had a worldwide #1 hit. Oh God, come on guys, it's 5-1. We need to wrap this up. I need to eat and take some pain relief and sleep. This has been hilarious. Thank you thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you for your company. God, it's been best part of 2 hours. Time has flown. No, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I would tell you privately, face to face, but not somewhere where it could be copied and other people could see it. But yeah, it's been my pain relief comes in a bottle. Well, partly mine does, but I'm gonna. I can't have another night like last night. It was just agony. It's killing me now. Dear me. Oh well. What doesn't kill us makes it stronger. Thank you, everybody. It's been a real joy, a real hoot. And this is going to be a regular thing on Monday and Thursday nights. I can't guarantee it will always be this long or this disgusting or this funny, but it will be a thing, Monday and Thursdays. So do tune in, and thank you. You have a trapped nerve. My sympathies. It's just agony, and driving makes it worse, which is double trouble. That's it. Let's call it a night. Cheers, everybody. It's been hilarious. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for staying up, and love you all. Have a safe and peaceful night, and can't wait to see you next time. Good night, my loves. God, that was funny. Oh, I can't remember how to turn it off now. Do I just do that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. Night.